always fantastic as the final map of the series. It tends to deliver a lot more times than it doesn't, and considering how close those first two maps were, I'm expecting this one to be extremely competitive. So I'm not even going to give any sort of general prediction. I'm just hoping for some great CS, and I'm excited that we're getting into it right this second. Over on the CT side, you do just see a fairly standard buy. Not goes for a CZ, though. That's a little bit of a switch up. Has a smoke behind it at least. And you have two players for ENCE also picking up utility. Couple smokes, a Molotov, and some flashes.
Well, when it comes to this pistol round, you can see immediately that the bomb, Sunny, is waiting outside of Banana. He had the flashbang in hand, ready for a peek to come through. As they look to move up further, though, he's starting to make his way in there. I presumed we were going to see the flashbang thrown through by him, but actually they hear a little bit of contact on top Banana. They're looking in for the peaks as it is, but Knock up close could cause a big problem for them. CZ in hand. They check and take him down. The swing from Plopsky gets one. They're going to hunt it even further. Very aggressive by Plopsky, and he might get a reward. Almost with the kill, but he gets taken down in the end. They know there was one more player on B, and presuming perhaps that an extra rotate had made its way through, they start to maneuver their way into the A site. Now, ENCE have made a bit of a miscalculation because Lekro is still here supporting Rez, and with a two-man A-hold, this is the strongest defense for Ninjas, but still heavy advantage for ENCE.
Yeah, for sure. Use their numbers, which are very quickly gone. Rez was able to actually get a double headshot in the space of like a second. Sunny nearly does the same as he pulls back a couple, and with that does give them the bomb plant. So despite a very solid effort on the hold right there from Rez in the pit, unfortunately it has still come down to Twist now to try and clutch it out. 1-on-2, has the kit and has the first headshot on the Alu. Knowing that Sunny planted, I believe, is being cautious of the fact that he could still be sitting around this bomb site, which is the case. In behind that default box right now, has the kit in place, so he's not too rushed to move forward. Has already done away with the health pretty much at this point, with 4 remaining. Looking for that final body shot, and he will find it. Twist comes through clutch yet again. We had a few clutch moments from this man back on Overpass, and he's gonna kick off Inferno the exact same way. Even murders a chicken.
Is there nothing that he won't kill in cold blood? 1-0. NIP doing very well picking up the pistol. But again, we have to ask ourselves the question, are ENCE going to go for the force buy? And this time, there's a bit of a change factor. The fact that they got that bomb plant means now that they're comfortable to buy up, they'll get their 2 AKs out on Alu and Sunny, dropping them over from Sergey and X7, I guess. And with that, you end up in this really nice... Or no, actually, sorry, one of the players bought it himself. Sunny was able to afford it after the kills. With that playing out, ENCE end up in a pretty even situation all in all. The fact that they've got 2 AKs is playing out really well for them when it comes to aim duels against pretty much any of these players. The flash over Banana early gets them access as the CTs fall back. They lob a nade through, but it's fairly insignificant damage considering the control they've managed to snatch.
Yeah, I think they're pretty happy, especially since it was mostly the player who doesn't even have Kevlar, who's only rocking a Deagle. Aerial with the Gillo, sure taking a small bit, but overall in a decent position, considering how this round has begun, having themselves the banana control with a lot of time left, so they could still, if they want, try and advance around mid also, which maybe wouldn't be the worst of ideas. There's smokes down at the moment. You see actually one man trying to challenge it being Sunny. Obviously in that previous round, he came out with 3 for himself, I believe it was. Yeah, big round. So you definitely want him to have one of those rifles right now. And look at this boost above the smoke. It actually nearly managed to catch, I believe, Plopsky crossing back over. Unfortunately, no damage being done. And right now, just the time is running down. There's not a lot of utility left, sure, for Nip. Time is beginning to get relatively low. They do have a molly, a flash, and a nade. Unfortunately, though, on the opposite side of the map where they're likely going to need it.
Steps coming through the spray, perfectly timed by Revs up above, and off hasn't been spotted either. And those trades are decent considering the buy that NIP had, but ENCE getting access to the bomb site and just about planting in time. Now that retake's going to be so much harder to make happen. The M4 is yet to face significant combat, as they've got a slow push coming through from Lekro and Banana. This one is going to take a little bit of time. Lekro's got a flash as well as a nade. The nade going around gives away his position. If he wins this fight, they could get the site easily enough. The flash should come over. Not yet. He actually just swings through to finish that one off. I was expecting it to be a much slower play even towards the site itself, with Lekro peeking. Once he found that kill, a flash over the roof towards middle of site to hopefully blind up those T's, and that would prompt the push, but avoiding using the utility, hell, it worked out for them.
I mean, they were kind of close enough right there. They didn't actually have a defuse kit in their possession while they were going for that defuse, so it would have been awkward if they did wait longer. But yeah, I mean, especially coming in from Banana there, those kills from Lekro were so massive. If he hadn't have got that first kill, then at that point there would have been a really good opportunity to 2-on-2, one player in the pit, one over towards Banana. They can shut down the two players potentially together as they come in from Coffin. So that would have been a bad one if it had went the other way. But NIP do manage to come out on top of the round. They do so in a very shaky fashion, only surviving with two players. It's not ideal. You will see a half investment coming through from ENCE, knowing that they've done so much damage in the previous round that if they can get a few kills here as well, it would be definitely worthwhile. Unfortunately, this time trying to get that banana control costs them a lot more.
Well, we're taking our time moving towards the top of middle. Decent stack here from NIP. They're looking good to shut these pistols down as they move into long. But with two smokes still in play, they're going to be going in for the peaks. Okay, that nade is huge from Swift as well. Lands almost on the head. They move back a little bit, but taking significant damage. Smoke, or flash, excuse me, going around towards short. Again, another nade to come through this time. The Molotov keeping them back. 50 seconds on the clock. And ENCE don't feel the need to rush. They're taking this one slow and steady. They're hoping to win the race, and they might just do so as they make their way into Banana. Plopsky's all alone. Nox starts to come over to help. Realizing it's been a little bit too long since they saw them on A.
Yeah, but moving through the smoke for ENCE is not going to be an easy task, and they actually end up lining up for Plopsky. Finding that construction angle works perfectly for him. Gets the final kill through the smoke as well. A quad for him with that M4, building up some money, building up some confidence as well. But overall, we weren't expecting too much in that round from ENCE. It was the previous round where they done considerable damage at least, so they haven't let the economy get out of control for NIP. If they were to lose this round, only getting 1,400 wouldn't really be sufficient for 3 of the players to buy. So there's still a really good opportunity for ENCE if they pick up this open and gun round to start getting things going pretty early on their T side here and not let it get out of control. As I said, I'm expecting another competitive map. I don't know why we would expect anything else after those first two.
Yeah, definitely. I don't expect ENCE to be dominated despite a 3-0 lead. Now they finally got rifles on. We still haven't seen Alu come out with a lead either. And Sergey, through the smoke, doesn't give a damn about Plopsky's ambitions as he takes his head clean off. It's a very nice opening to have coming into the first buy round. Good nade return, though. Look at that. Sergey on 35 health.
Another nade going through as well. Sunny and Ariel both being tagged down relatively a lot by that. It helps out especially those M4 players, but even then with the AK, a few less bullets to the body if it's the spray you're going for. And at the moment, NIP have the correct decision. They've gone ahead and stacked up 3 towards this A bomb site. Bristow will get aggressive. It's a little bit awkward. Spots out Aludo and does some damage around the corner of the boiler. And at this point, it's kind of forced ENCE to reconsider what exactly they want to do right now. It did seem like they wanted that A commitment, but they're actually now beginning to back down and look for the banana control. And Nock is actually rotated over. So if they go quickly, they have an open bomb site.
And quickly they do go. Onto the site, smoke down in CT in a plant. NIP going to be kicking themselves with how they've lost out on that one. And this is the thing, they can't even push down middle with the position being held by X7. He'll completely catch them off, and NIP know that this just doesn't pay off going in for this kind of a retake. They're going to have to save over these weapons. One thing that you notice in this round, all the damage done by NIP pretty much was by grenades, and they have been such a big factor. When we look even back to Overpass, they were consistently dominating the utility damage sector of the game, especially on their CT side. That's something that I feel like we don't even see most teams, certainly not with the same success level as what we're seeing from this NIP lineup at the moment.
Yeah, and I think ENCE will eventually have to react to that if they want to keep going for this banana control and probably slow it down a little bit and see if they can bait out a couple of those nades before they actually move for the control, because especially in that previous round, multiple players were just kind of destroyed before they could do too much. The past few rounds in general. I actually want to look at the overall utility damage. I haven't done that yet. Yeah, I mean, considering we're on round number 5, 127 for Plopsky, 124 for Twist. They're the two players I believe over towards B. I know Plopsky is for sure. And then Knock, Rez, and also Lekro having a little bit to their names as well. It's just every single round they're pretty much coming into with an advantage. Obviously, though, ENCE were still able to pick up that previous one. They done so in a fairly clean fashion, actually, keeping all 5 players alive. I thought it was only 4. It was 4 that actually survived for NIP to save their weapons over, so that has allowed them to fight back into this one. And this time they want to go a little bit more aggressive. The initial damage from the spam, and then the nade follows up from Rez and destroys Sergey. That banana control has been taken away from ENCE in this round, as well as having a disadvantage. That is wild from Alu.
We didn't catch that one here.
Jumped to the smoke on his own, yeah. Knife out, he jumped into the corner and then tried to get his gun back out, but at that point he was caught. There was a player like right on the other side of the smoke, so it was weird.
Interesting play for sure.
A huge gamble. I mean, if there was no one there, they'd have the banana control, so the 4-on-5 would be a better spot. But if it doesn't work out now they're in a 3-on-5, that is horrible.
Especially as they didn't find any info there, right? They just got naded. I guess they thought the nade meant that it was sort of Hail Mary and fall back.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Like he naded and then fell back to side or sandbag, something like that. But no, proven wrong. With that coming down to a 5v3, ENCE need to look elsewhere. It's the A-bomb site that they want to push into. And a rotate already in play as Plopsky sets up. On the side itself, Lekro, Twist. Lekro and Twist are holding down towards short. Rez happy to support as well. This is a really strong setup. The one player going long is Sunny. And he can't see Rez. That's such a good spot up on top. Oh no, Rez, he jumped down! Sunny's got the frag. I didn't think he'd win that duel. They know there's a player in pit. They know side as well, but they don't know about behind as Plopsky comes through with the double to finish off the round.
It was done anyways. They didn't have the time. That was another thing they knew. They knew that the clock was too low. 4-1, NIP able to quickly return a round of their own. Doing so with 2 players alive, obviously not ideal, but they know that ENCE themselves don't have the strongest of economies. They'll have to reinvest everything that they were able to save over from that previous gun round that they won out cleanly in order to get their buyback in. So this is a good opportunity really for both of these teams. The winner of this one is going to put their opponent down to an eco, most likely. I mean, if ENCE got a bomb plant, maybe they could scrape out a buy. But overall, the winner of this round should be able to get themselves a bit of control, and for ENCE especially, that's really important if they want to start actually trying to build up a few rounds, at least early on in this half. Give themselves some sort of foundation, and then try and grind out, at the very least, a few more. This time, the nades again doing some damage, but only towards Aerial, and we won't really see NIP trying to follow up with them for that banana aggression. Instead, willing to give up the control.
But ENCE still playing it safe, walking up with the guns out instead of a knife this time. Probably a better call. They're going to leave Sergey to just lurk down and towards the top of Banana, make a little bit of noise. Looks even like he might throw his smoke over with the lineup he's got at the moment. Or maybe not, actually. I think he's up on top of the logs. Looking to challenge anyone as they move through, but ENCE instead are opening up on A. At least that's the intention. You can see for now, they're not afraid to push forward and take those fights without a whole lot of support from teammates. You saw Sergey just continuously peeking into Banana. They're playing a confident game, even despite the fact that they obviously lost the previous maps have been tight so far. That may stand to them, but they're about to push into the A site with 3 players on it. They should expect that, but bunch down on the bomb side itself. Lekro's in with 1-2, but he's got to do so much more. His teammates are already dead. Huge openings by ENCE, and they follow through by taking him out and getting a bomb plant. Aggressive control in CT, and NIP, they've lost grip on this round in a flash.
Yeah, it's over. I mean, that wrap just made it so difficult, especially as they lost the player who was around the pit area. They needed him to be alive so that they could put a little bit more focus towards long. We've seen, of course, they ended up losing one player because of it. And despite Lekro being able to trade them out then just on the bomb site, not able to really do much anymore because he's pinned in the corner. So he wasn't even able to run that time down to give the ability for NIP to rotate those 2B players over. So yeah, I agree with the save being called for. Their money is not too fantastic. They'll only get 1,400 from this one. With the money that's available, though, on some of the players, Rez can buy for himself just about. I mean, you could get an M4 and body armor, so we may see a weaker weapon with nades. You'd have to see the drops then coming in from Plopsky and Knock over towards Lekro and Twist, which I think is pretty likely. So it should really just be that one player on the weaker weapon. Or he could go for the M4 just about, but I think I'd rather prioritize the nades on a map here like Inferno. Let's see, what does he go for? Armor being boss so far. A flash coming out, and I think he's going to go for the rifle here. Goes for the FAMAS, okay, middle ground.
I think especially when you come to Inferno, smokes are so important. You can delay so much time with them. Well, that early banana push, ENCE giving away the fact that they're coming in hard and fast. They're getting naded to death, spammed as well.
Oh, Lord.
And that is such a rough start for the nail pops. He's close, and yeah, he's dead to rights, but the trade back is well worth it for NIP. Good reactions to start lobbing nades down as soon as they hear the mollies through. They knew something was up. It's a different banana take than what we've seen from ENCE so far, which has featured no top banana control or presence within that first 1 minute 30 left on the clock mark. It's only around now that they're normally even making it past tree. I think it becomes quite easy to predict. At the same time, it's risky to play that with your nade, with the nade out. Plopsky could have been taken down in that duel, and from there the site could have fallen, but he was able to do so. Again, like the utility damage must be through the roof for Nip.
More like over the roof. Yeah, I mean, just being chipped away at before they can ever really take contact to push into a bomb site. Right now, Sergey's barely hanging on with 31 X7s being chipped away at quite heavily, which is especially a good thing when you do have that weaker weapon such as a FAMAS. It makes things just that little bit easier. A bit of a fake being sold towards B. I don't think it's going to pull any more rotations, but there is already 2 players over here that it will keep in position at least for a while. The question is, can Alu manage to get any frags from this? Because his 2 teammates over towards A, they're not looking too healthy, so they're going to need to find success themselves, and it's going to be a tough spot to be in general. And oh, unfortunately, top with a Molotov in hand, Lekro just has 2 free kills for himself. That's over. Alu he's outie. Saving that AK over. A little bit of a frustration shake there of the mouse, understandably so, but it is a 5-2 lead now for NIP.
A good start to the CT side, no doubt. I mean, when you begin it by winning the pistol, things can always go either way. Realistically, we saw it from ENCE on map 1, 5-1 down, and they bounce all the way back into it. Those first couple rounds are not so defining because of the crazy economic situations you can end up in by losing one extra player in a round, or maybe by them getting really a bomb plant or not. Well,
that's the only way they become super defining. When you see a team on round 6 having like a 6-0 lead and like all above 10k.
And it does feel a little bit more one-sided towards the T side if they get that early bump of rounds than to the CTs. A lot of the time it can be a bit of a throw-up. I mean, you see in that second round that came through from ENCE, they were able to get 2 AKs, a Galil, and pretty much full utility on 3 players with armor. NIP had 3 SMGs. So you can end up in a spot 100% where you get shut down. If you lose that round, you're on an eco, and without much effort, ENCE are in the lead. They're 2, maybe 3-1 up.
I didn't even notice. Alu right now is 004, I believe. He hasn't even really done any damage. He has 9 ADR. It's just a massive comparison, a contrast to what we seen back on map number 1 and 2, where he was playing like a beast on both of them. So that's not a great sign, but obviously with it still being early days, he can still take it up a notch at any point. Obviously being on the T side of Inferno as well, the op not quite as viable. This round, though, overall is a relatively decent buy for ENCE. If they can manage to make this work, NIP's economy would be destroyed. If they themselves lose it, though, that's a good opportunity for NIP to try and take themselves up to a 7-2 lead. And here we go, the A-Rap going to be coming in. They did find success with this the last time. In the end, it ended up being actually the time that kind of ruined it for them. But fortunately, they're not actually going to find any openings at all. There was nearly one from Alu, but he gets mollied back off the angle and spammed down at the same time. And that CT lurk is actually being spotted, so this is done.
And HP didn't matter all too much, getting lit up afterwards by Rez in the back. 6 rounds on the board for NIP. And I want to quickly check the utility damage here. Look at that. You're talking 600 plus damage done by NIP already within the first 8 rounds. And even at that, you've got the pistol where you're not going to have any. So within 7 rounds, really, they've killed 6 people, essentially. 6 people worth of damage.
That's really impressive. I mean, you wouldn't be too shocked normally to see that utility damage at the end of the half a lot of
Yeah. It is the CT side, so it's that little bit easier. Look again, X7, and this isn't as defining of a round. It is, well, unless ENCE win it. They've only got P250s and 2 Deagles. Bit of armor here and there. Realistically, this should be NIP winning it cleanly. Even losing a rifle to a buy like this isn't ideal. But more specifically, because the CTs have got full AKs. You can't rebuy these, so one player dying like that means you haven't got it for the next one they're still facing. It could have gotten very dangerous very quickly.
I don't think they'll be incredibly worried about that, especially if they want to bring the op out in the next round. But ideally, they don't want to be dropping any more players. Also, not specifically just because of the AKs, but because of the fact that, as you said, the economy could still be broken relatively easy for the CT side. So NIP don't want to let that happen, because that would immediately give ENCE an opening back into the half. Again, a couple of kills being found overall here by ENCE. I don't expect them to be able to win it out, but it is at least a pretty substantial amount of damage again towards the economy. Both players now being tagged up, those that are actually left surviving for ENCE. So nothing really going to happen. Not even facing together initially. Sergey only now going to try and follow up, and obviously that gave Rez a lot of time to compose himself and just hold the angle. 7-2, 3 players surviving. We will see a decent amount of reinvestment having to come true, but this is where ENCE really need to start picking up some rounds now before it does get out of hand.
Yeah, well, I always say like 7-1 is kind of where I draw the line. 7-2 in this case, obviously. At the point where it gets a little bit too far, you're not winning buy rounds. The other team have built up quite a bit of cash, as you're seeing. They've got AKs as well to work with on the defense. They're kind of crossing a point of no return to the extent where it's going to be a bad half for you 9 times out of 10. This one starts out with the opening duel going to ENCE, with utility no less. A little bit of an answer back. And the nade doesn't even do that much, 12 to each player. They've got banana control, just ensuring that by not letting them off. And starting to edge forward, which I'm presuming they'll commit fully forward in a minute. And with that, this is one of the better starts that ENCE have had in buy rounds. Usually by this point, 2 players are 20 HP to frag grenades.
Yeah, that is a pretty big point to be made. This is one of the few times, I believe, that we've actually seen them find the opening. I'm not sure if it's the only. It may have happened before, but from what I'm recalling, it has been mostly Nip, of course, and just dominating with those nades and also with the peaks in general, going a little bit more aggressive when they wanted towards banana. This time, though, 4-on-5 to try and recover from, so they are feeling like they have to get a little bit more aggressive. We've seen the flash into the apartments, a bit of a dink on X7, but it only done 12 damage, so it's coming down to Twist now instead. And this man nearly hit the 40 bomb on that previous map. It's the crucial shot there as he takes down the first man trying to actually attack out through long, and that's gone ahead and made ENCE decide that they want to bring it back towards B, where it's only Rez sitting in the spawn. As the smoke goes down, he's probably not going to be able to do a lot unless he can catch him on the cross, and he does. He catches Sunny.
The bomb not yet planted as they go in for it. Rez, oh, he's going to go for the spam alongside the nade. Good damage done. Gives them a little bit more to play with as they come back into it in a second. NIP holding down again for Lekro. Waiting for him to come up through banana, but waiting for him is exactly what X7 is doing. They disengage that fight. Ali moves around, takes out Twist. In through the smoke he goes to CT. No saves possible for NIP with the positions of the T's. They've got to eliminate them. Then take the round. Wait, no, the lineup for Sergey running into the spray. Lekro is left all alone in a 1v3. Not looking to take this. And ENCE have done it. They've picked up their 3rd round here on the T side. It can be a slow grind. Give them a little bit of leeway if they're just building them up over time. We want to see them around 6 rounds to feel comfy as we close it out. But that does mean winning the majority of the buys that are about to come up. If they win this one, though, it will face off against an eco from NIP, so there are certainly upsides.
Definitely, and we don't even see the op coming out here. Knock could have went for a glass cannon, I believe, but decided against it instead. They prioritized just having full utility on everyone. Plenty of kits as well. All the rifles obviously available. So NIP, they don't want to let ENCE have a chance to try and actually chain any rounds together, which we haven't seen them do so far. As you said, it's been a slow grind, which can still work out for sure. But NIP don't want to let that happen. They want to, again, just come back immediately, return, and only really allow for that stray round to be found. But here we go. It looks like we will see a challenge towards Banana because this smoke is going to go quite soon. And there is 2 players around here with Plopsky facing from the car. As the Molotov goes down, though, he will be forced to fall back and play a bit more passive, which is probably for the best. I mean, they have a decent amount of damage already done again by the grenades over towards this area. Oh. Perfect boost there to catch that player on the corner.
It looks like ENCE don't want to fully commit into B just yet, though. The bomb's still sat outside A. Their options are open. And as they look to move forward, utility being thrown over. Thought that spam was going to come through for a second. Twist. Oh, he's the one to win the spam. Taking down that player, but confirming at this point that he's rotated. He's been playing A, and they know it. Rushing in now with Rez and Lekro to hold down all by their lonesome. An AK for Lekro, and Sunny shows his head. Not a wise move at all. Smoke down, bomb retrieved, 30 seconds on the clock. They're moving forward. NIP on the rotate. They've got to go fast. Raise from Lekro. He's conscious of a player coming in through apps. So is Rez. Can't afford a wide swing on this, but they're buying time. Flash is good. Lekro peeks. Oh, it catches one of the CTs. Twist blinded up and almost taken down by the op of Alu. But with 15 seconds left, they've got to make a move. Time is not on their side. They've got to get the bomb planted, and the flank from Nog takes 2. That's the round over, and Alu looks to save the op. Does look like he'll make it away. But surviving means he gets no cash. Which actually isn't the worst in the world, because he has got a little bit of money built up.
Yeah, they'll... Oh, I'm saying probably buy, but I don't know. They could eco for the next round if they wanted, though. They could have scraped it out. It would just leave them with very, very few nades. Apart from on towards the player who would get dropped the rifle by Alu, and then Alu could get a few himself. So it wouldn't be ideal. So yeah, they decide just on the half investment, knowing that if they can keep the damage on in this round, if they can win out the next one when they will actually have a proper investment themselves, then they still have a really good opportunity, because off the back of that one, they probably would be able to get themselves a 5th. Unless Nip saved over, their money wouldn't be too strong. Again, though, over towards Banana is where we do see Nip looking to try and actually challenge early on. Smoked off, though. Not really going to be able to follow with the aggression themselves, but the nades again being tossed over, almost removing a player from the round.
ENCE have got one of the trickier rounds to play with. What I'm surprised about is what they're doing with Alu, leaving him towards the A site with the AWP. Only now is Sunny starting to move anywhere close to him, and that puts him in a position where if he was to fall, certainly from the likes of an apps push, which is unlikely considering they know it should be a weaker investment, there's at least a decent chance. But even still, if he did fall, the op would be irretrievable. And look at this, as Sunny goes back to B, Alu's still here with the op in hand. Aerial falls, they've got utility to execute in. And I guess the idea is that they'll find the bomb plant and drag rotations, and then Alu would pick them up. But no, they've decided now to go back and commit to B. I think maybe the idea there was that a couple players go forward, they drag rotations, Alu gets a kill, and then the bomb goes A when he secures it and opens it up. But Ninjas weren't so eager to rotate in.
No, they don't really have to be in a round like this where they know there's not a lot in play. Right now, though, with very few nades left, only a couple of flashes, with the B push coming in, there is still definitely some chances for ENCE to get these openings. So far, not working out, I was going to say, but Alu does use those tracers to actually fire back one. The boost, though, not quite being able to deny that plant. Instead, they find one kill up close in the smoke, but Alu returns again. So this has become a much better position for ENCE overall. Still a tough spot to be in, but if Sunny could get this kill up close on construction, it would have given them the chance that they needed. Instead, it falls all onto Alu, being low already. You cannot fancy his chances, and despite actually doing some damage with a shot being connected, it wasn't enough for the kill, so he will be completely overwhelmed. We see the 9th round coming in for NIP, but again, considering they had very little investment in that round, ENCE aren't going to be too upset. As I said, keeping themselves in a position where if they win this round here, then there's a decent chance at least for them to start getting back into it. There'll be some money left over after the reinvestment, so Nip probably would be able to scrape together a buy in the next round. But obviously, ENCE, they want to try and chain together all the rounds that remain at this point anyway. So if they were to get the next 2, it would give them a bit of an easier time going in and trying to get a 6th for themselves, which would be a decent recovery considering how they started.
The possibilities are there, but they won't face off against the ecos, which is what makes this so much harder to deal with. No molly landing for Plopsky with the smoke that was already down, but Hey, you know, realistically, it's unlikely they push through that smoke unless Alu's feeling his knife push again. As ENCE move towards top mid, they've got an AWP to contend with in the form of Twist. He sat down on long, holding that passive spot, but he doesn't grab a kill as they swing after him. Down he goes. And with that, a 5 versus 4. NIP stuck on the A-bomb site. Rez does well, and Molly's afterwards to stop the push further. They know there's one out on short, and that he's stuck pretty much all by himself. Push down onto him as Lecro falls. Rez is going to push him back and not a chance. The other players, I think, should save. The kill from Plopsky might prompt them to move further forward.
Oh, I was going to say, especially if they went out to duel on Alu towards mid. Unfortunately, though, you do see Plopsky instead just being legged down, and with the ability to retrieve that up there for knock, they're just going to back away and save this. As I said, the money is a little bit shaky. They would have been able to scrape their buyout in this next round either way to fight back in. But with these weapons being actually saved, they will confirm that they have pretty much everything they need. But ENCE, though, they bring it up to 4. If they can get 5 even on the T side, it's a half you can definitely manage with. But at this point, certainly aiming for 6. And it's a possibility for sure. They will save over 3 players themselves, so that will give them the ability to easily drop over for Uriel on X7. X7 goodbye for himself, but we'll see what way they manage it. They should be able to, with that, at least get all the nades that they're going to need now to try and fight into this next round. And as I said, potentially bring their half actually back into a decent spot. Should see a drop for Elecro there on the side of Nip. Yeah, he's going to be given an M4.
I think definitely if they can get up to 6, they'll feel happy with the spot they play from. You got to imagine that when ENCE swap to the CT side, that's where Alu's going to have much more to say about this game on that AWP. It's definitely not the end of the road for them now. They've put up a good fight. Just a little bit more and they'll look... they won't be in a bad spot, for sure. Sergey lived for 50 in the molly. The nades are just so good from the CT side. Alu down to 50 as well with that frag. They're going to try to return it. Oh, 3 coming through. And not a single point of damage.
Yeah, I mean, again, ENCE trying to actually fight for that banana control. You either see Nip challenge for it, which of course can go bad or well, depending on if they win out their aim duels. But they switch it up then as well. When they don't, they're always ready with those nades, timing them slightly different, managing to somehow catch ENCE players every single time. And just making themselves feel a little bit more comfortable with the fact that they have given up that control. Small bit more being done towards Zerial. One positive, though, obviously, for ENCE is that they have gotten the full banana control. So they have this position at least to work with. They're looking to try and get mid as well. And now that they have, they've given themselves a lot of options to work with and restricted a lot of that info for NIP. Although Rez, I think, may want to go aggressive. Right up close to the smoke, and she hears the steps. Spams through, doesn't really connect anything too substantial, unfortunately. And with that now, they've got their way in through Arch, and they're just going to split straight on towards B.
Yeah, looking to move into the site where Plopsky and Nalk hold down. Only a flash between them to work with. And not anymore as Nalk gets deleted. Plopsky tucked away, hoping to win these duels, but he can't get a damn thing done. The bomb plan to come through ends with a really nice and clean round. As NIP, considering their cash, yet again forced into a save. With 5 on the board, honestly, ENCE are okay from this point forward. They don't need to be terribly worried about their spot. But one more would be nice, just to push them all the way into favor. You got to remember, they did lose the pistol round, and indeed then the force buy afterwards, which is the important part. So losing those initial 3 and still ending up on 6 is, I think, fairly respectable.
Yeah, definitely agree. Right now, they're even willing to hunt down these NIP players because they have enough themselves to reinvest in this next round. So knowing if they can take some of these weapons out of the hands of Nip, it could severely impact their buy in this next round. Not going too well so far, though. And it doesn't look like they're going to really be able to find anyone nearly getting twisted in the last second. But it's not quite going to happen. So yeah, 3 weapons being carried over. With that, we can see 2 drops. Yeah, Elecro able to give one over to Twisted, already dropped one to Plopsky. So it's still a very strong investment from NIP thanks to that save. But as you said, I mean, 5 is manageable. 6 is one that they're going to be happy with after going down 3-0 initially. It's still a half that they'll be going onto the CT side thinking, all right, yeah, that was pretty good, especially if they get the pistol at that point. But let's see. They're up against another full buy here.
1,200 utility damage roughly done by NIP so far.
Damn.
Pretty ridiculous for a half, like. I know it's Inferno, lots of choke. You can make excuses for why it's so good from them, but You cannot deny their timing for when to use these nades is perfect. Their placement, spectacular. Molly comes in to back these players off, but ENCE answer back with one frag of their own, lighting Flopsky to 40 and prompting him to very quickly leave Banana. I believe the play there was that Knock was going to play more passive with a flashbang, and once Flopsky took contact, flash in, allow him to get multiple kills. But on 40 HP, not really worth the risk anymore.
Yeah, can't really afford to. Only to do it more towards B. Maybe if they had a 3-man stack, they could have used them to get a bit of info or something. Follow up with a second peek, but right now it is just the pretty standard CT hole. And it looks like it will be Twist who gets challenged on mid. Actually does connect that shot on Sunny. Gonna drop the smoke straight down, has a teammate actually up close to the corner. I think Lekro was a little bit too high on the graveyard there. Was spotted, I think. The nade comes in, but he just about manages to move out of the way in time. So, I mean, not too much being done here for ENCE considering how much they've put around this mid area. They are just going to begin to move it back over towards Banana to end it on B. Oh, and Rez, if he gets the spam away, he's actually just going to wait for the smoke to dissipate, and then he has an easy kill. ENCE, they need to get moving real soon. 22 seconds to get on towards B.
As they come in, they haven't spotted Knock. They check him on the way around, but the bomb's dropped. And straight through the smoke, Rez finishes it off. 10-5. A good half for NIP, but there's certainly still chances left for ENCE to take this across the line. Will they be able to do so? Well, there's only one way to find out. That's to start the second half. But before we do that, we have to throw things over to a quick break, so we will be right back with half number 2.
Explain to me what it's all about.
never let you double cross them. Moving through the city like it's Gotham. They told me get one, so I got one. Stop saying you're a boss when you not one. You ain't sacrificed, nah, you ain't lost none. All over the gram like you got a bag. You ain't big dog, we ain't hearing none of that. I'm in the gym looking like a running back. How you know the flow got 'em coming
Hello everybody and welcome back. NIP versus ENCE, map number 3, half number 2. We are ready to jump on into things as ENCE start out on the CT side. They've got 5 rounds under their belt. This is the lower half of OK. Really, you want to have those 6, give you a little bit of a buffer to play with. Now we want to see them win that pistol to keep things competitive the whole way through and not allow NIP to get too much length on the leash. They're looking at top banana control after spotting a player out and making sure that nobody's aggressing in apartments anymore, although that's not strictly true as Ariel continues to move forward. He's playing a risky game. They look to move over towards the B site with a full execute coming through, and Nalk has it. Oh, no, never mind. He's dead.
Yeah, Alu was just posted on that angle. They have left one player to hold for this flank, so that should be an easy kill for Electro. And they are also managing to get those openings on towards B, so NIP have completely overrun the bomb site. Ariel and Sergey left rotating in, but they're not even coming in together. So it's 2 different players that you have to rely on having success to give them any sort of opportunity in this retake. But there it is, Ariel. He does come through at 1. Gives them the chance that they need now to try and close in towards the bomb site. And a Molotov looking to go in towards where Twist is positioned. This could be huge for actually forcing him out of position, giving Sergey an easy fight. The issue is already being dinked down. He didn't really wait for the Molotov to be thrown in. That was a weird one. 11-5. Nip with a quite convincing pistol there for themselves, and with that bringing it 11-5. We said 5 rounds wasn't too bad for ENCE. It was a manageable score from the T side, but once you lose the pistol, it kind of becomes a whole nother story, especially if you can't win out the force buy, which they are going for now. If they lose this, we'll be seeing 13-5 before they actually get a full buy round into play. So this one is very important for ENCE.
Now the force by... Oh, the nades. Hello. Plopsky down to 16 HP, 31 for Twist, and Electro on 28. Everybody is low at this point. This early utility usage combined with the scout damage is amazing for ENCE, as best as it could possibly be hoped for. 3 players are essentially one shot to most weapons that are in play for the CT side. ENCE now have a huge advantage when it comes into aim duels and openings. Bridges the gap massively of the AKs in play. Plopsky swaps over the AK to Nalk, which is something I was thinking because only 2 players have full HP. Makes sense for them to have the dueling rifles. And NIP look to push into B. There's only 2 players here, but one of them has a deagle, which is going to be 1 hit on Plopsky, Twist, and Electro. As they push forward, they could be in a lot of trouble against X7, exactly like that.
Yeah, finds that opening kill, retreats back into relative safety, and then Sunny pops out for 1. The issue is the Molotov was what was forcing them to take those fights. One man chose to take the aggression, got 1 kill, the other decided to hide and just burned alive. And now it's a 3-on-3, so a decent recovery from NIP, but still with the damage that's being done, this is certainly achievable for ENCE on the retake. Ariel gives hope once again with that CZ entry from Banana, but Knock, he just says, knock on my watch. I don't know.
That was the worst one so far, 100%. But yeah, you got to say Knock saves the round. ENCE on the force buy. They've got decent chances to win it. Not quite what you're looking for in a full buy, but with the early utility damage they did with Alu finding those tags, things were looking fantastic. But sadly, they don't find it. And although taking a force buy into that close of a round is a positive thing, in general, the fact that they're now 12-5 down is what really weighs on this situation. They've made it all the way down mid. They haven't lost a player yet. Eventually, they start to drop. Nade damage that came through doesn't matter. And very quickly, it's all closed out. I was thinking Dean cut that joke a little short. The knock joke. I thought it was out of a sense of embarrassment. He understood. But it turns out, again, his internet has DC'd. As I said before, you guys have surely heard about it. The internet issues that were going on yesterday, they've carried forward for some people today. I know a lot of streamers have been hit by it, where your net just kind of turns off. I heard it was a global DNS issue. I don't know, but I know Virgin Media, who provide my internet, were just dead all day yesterday. Sunny's died to a molly. That's not what you want to see. He was stood in top. I saw him lose health. I was like, yeah, he's gonna come back. But no, what's happened there? 4 versus 4. NIP. They've been traded back on at least. But ENCE, I don't know how they lose. And they lose Alu too. Just a quick spam there from Plopsky. Nothing unusual about it. That is nasty. But look at ENCE. They haven't committed. They haven't rotated to B. But as they peak, they still die. So, I mean, it doesn't help that much. Hey, Plopsky, how you doing? Aggression from Sergey is paying off pretty much. I don't think Rez is sure we're, what's going on here? He thinks maybe they've gone B and pushing Banana, but no, they're actually both here, and he spots them. Takes them down quickly, 14-5. This is not looking good for ENCE. Some said it was going to be easy. I heard a song or two, but evidently there's not a whole lot that they can do. NIP, 2 rounds away from victory. But ENCE down on pistols, you know, they're likely to hit 15 over on that T side. Nade usage again, deals a little bit of damage. Flash from Alu, he hopes they push into top Banana soon and he can lob that frag through. And this is a real shame because if MIP get off to this strong early start, we don't get to see the ENCE we were hoping for. We mentioned how much of a heavily ticked win condition Alu was for them when it came towards those last 2 maps, certainly to Train and indeed to Series in more recent memory. And with them starting on the T side here and then not really getting any money, I mean, they haven't been able to buy that off more than once. You end up in a spot where you're not going to see the full ENCE if they lose this round. The likelihood is that they've lost the game then, obviously, if it's 15-5. I mean, 10 rounds in a row is a lot to ask of any team. It's more than NIP have managed, and I dare say that more than NIP have managed this series. You need that round buffer to play with. Now, as NIP eventually move forward and you see a 2-man A-hole just tucked away all by themselves, by their lonesome, NIP are going to be cautious about pushing through this smoke, for good reason with the CZ up behind it. Plopsky, oh no, that's very aggressive, but he sees the feed at least. Works out, spraying on sight, easily done, bomb planted. Easy for NIP, P. I don't know what I'd put there, upper dog. That's the closest I could get. Put there, I think that's it. If anyone, well, to the people inevitably who are finished watching this, I apologize for butchering your language. And to anyone with ears for singing in general. That's what you call that. $15-5, guaranteed at this point. And to any ENCE fans out there, no matter how much faith you have, I think you got to admit things aren't looking good on Inferno. And so odd as well that it's Inferno that sees such a one-sided performance for NIP. I wouldn't have predicted this coming into the start of this game.
Oof.
Hello, Dean, and welcome back.
I'm gonna do it and say fuck Sky Internet.
Oh god, not treating you well, is it?
Nah, man, I dropped out a couple of rounds ago as well, but only for like 10 seconds, and it came straight back on. It was really weird, but then no, just completely dropped there. Thank you.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no, I mean, I come back to a 15-5 scoreline. This has just been absolute domination since the halftime switch, and it looks like NIP, despite having 2 extremely close first maps, it's here on the decider that NIP have just taken full control for themselves. I mean, there's still a bit of hope maybe ENCE can start pulling back some rounds, but it has to be 10 in a row for an overtime. It is not too likely. Again, some damage being done by NIP here. Another nade going to go over. I don't know if it'll do much. Just 1 to Alu.
This is so surprising. I was just saying about how Inferno is the map where ENCE fall and where NIP dominate. Although it is a good map for NIP, we've seen some pretty damn decent results from ENCE. Yes, the game versus Heretics wasn't ideal, but then they've beaten NIP here 16-8. They've beaten Astralis, Vitality. Those are the last 4 games. Pretty damn good, but it seems to be a map that they either show up on, like I said, versus Vitality, Astralis, NIP, or they get 16-2'd by Spirit, 16-4'd by Godsent. I mean, Those are not the way the results should be. It should be the exact opposite way around, but we look into what could be the final round. LIP fast pushing into B. Smokes down in CT. You've only got Sunny left on the site by himself, completely isolated. This spray wasn't good here from Rez. He's so close to landing it. But as Sunny's dealt with, the bomb plant comes through, and a 3v3 retake for ENCE starts out well with Ariel finding a kill.
Yeah, pretty solid. I mean, at this point, you may see them wanting to go a little bit more aggressive here on the afterplant to see if they can catch one player. Instead, though, just Rez holding up close. Ariel looking to move in with the flash. Rez able to avoid it, though, so reacts in time to pick himself up the headshot. And now it's the banana flank that they're really going to be relying on. Sergey just jumped straight through the smoke, putting one down on the other side to try and give him some cover. But it doesn't work out, and there it is. Rez gets himself the third kill to go ahead and close that one out. 16-5 is what we have here on map number 3.